A beautiful mind like Russell Crowe. I tried to hustle snow. Now I sit in the front row. I had to grow. I've been to and fro. Put holes in Kama Sutra holes. Got hit with bottles, gases left. I needed sutures to close it. If it ain't dope, don't put your nose in it. Stay in a child's place. This grown man business. I bear my soul like a naked witness. Telling my own.
What up, though? What up, though? What up, though? Everybody, welcome in again and again to the Give Me My Props Sports Betting Podcast / family. I am Larry Williams, aka that shot you gotta get before you get some dental work done. He is Jan Bryan, aka Gin and Juice.
What up, though?
And this is the Give Me My Props Sports Betting Podcast, where we talk about all things NFL and NBA sports betting related, and then life, love, and other stuff. So we try to mix some of that stuff in there, just so not as to keep it bored and just bring our listeners a little more content than just strictly sports bets or what have you. So speaking of other stuff, heard there was a pretty crazy party on Grasset Avenue in Detroit. Do you want to touch on that, Jan?
We could touch on that. Is that the car show you talking about?
Yeah, there was a car show or something like that. Just heard there was mayhem. Tell me more.
And it was
I'm
two
interested.
things. I didn't hear about the car show melee. I just heard like it's a car show. Let's go. But it was two things going on at Rouge Park. It was a shooting because it was like some kind of juice party. I think Juice World party.
So I was gonna touch on that next. So maybe
there.
we should just okay. So since local people don't know about Gratiot Avenue, but they do know about Detroit. So there was a car show, like a de facto car show. They shut down one of our major roads. A lot of people came out. Some good things happened, some bad things happened. I'm more interested to talk to the people, and when I say the people, I mean America, about and other places, not just America. So wherever you listen from, we love you. We love you and Al, our one listener friend. So hi, Al. But Juice Wars. Now, Juice Wars, if anybody is familiar, I heard was a replica of what they used to call Freaknik, which was a weekend-long event. Well, no, it was. How long was Freaknik? It was a week-long event in Atlanta, wasn't it?
I think so. I've never been, but I think it was like a week.
I've been. I went to one of the last years they shut it down. I believe it was '96. I went down there. My sister was living down there in maybe in '98. Maybe in 98, I went down there, 97, 98. Can't remember. But anyways, they replicated that in Juice Wars. Now tell us more about Juice Wars and what the buzz was in the city. Did the city bill it as another Freaknik, or what was it, Jen? Tell me more.
I'm actually out of the loop. I'm going to tell you what happened to me. I have a muscle car Challenger. So a lot of times I just get in the car and drive. You know what I'm saying? So I'm riding around, and I actually just ride by down Plymouth, where the Rouge area, and I'm like, what is going on over here? This look crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of just bumped into it. It was, half naked females hanging out of cars.
So a lot of that. Now, when I looked at it, it looked like a lot of college kids. Is that what it was?
I'm definitely in their 20s. I was definitely the minority. Even though I ran into a couple people that I grew up with, actually being out there, like. So
I mean, nobody cares, right? Like they brought everybody's going out, like everybody's out,
right? But it was mostly 20-year-olds, I would say.
Had they put a hard date on next year? How did the city treat the event?
Well, you couldn't really get into Rouge. By the time I got there, and I was there like about 4:00, which is early. You know what I'm saying? So you really couldn't get in there. When I did get in there, it was like they're getting me out of here. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of traffic, so I'm like, let me just go post up, and then we took over, and I'm saying we because I pulled over, and then next thing I know is 9 Challengers and Chargers next to me. You know what I'm saying? So pretty much the Scat Pack SRT community took over
Is
the
that
parking lot.
so? People that you're familiar with?
Oh no, I didn't know these people at all. But they seen a Challenger, they pulled over, and it was just a line of Challengers and Chargers at the
Everybody
parking lot
was
over
getting along. Y'all, did you guys commingle as if you known each other or what have you?
a little bit, not crazy, but just a little,
With caution, right?
yeah,
For you know.
yeah. So that
Wow.
did
So
that did happen, and I did kind of have fun. You know what I'm saying?
hey, well, I mean, I am very happy to hear that you had a positive experience that you happened upon Juice Wars. I didn't necessarily think it was for our demographic, but it's okay. Excuse me. Our age demographic, but it's okay. They accepted the more mature gentleman out there.
Oh yeah, because I drive it. Well, they are cars, but they like our cars. Like like they.
Yeah, they like
they
our cars.
so we're going to have a what I'm saying, we old school before old school. They still like our same cars. They like our shoes. This is all our stuff that still is relevant. Um,
Speaking of things that are still relevant, one of the greats, Jan, we lost one of the greats, and I was a little taken aback. Have you ever heard of the song "Private Dancer" by a lady named Ms. Tina Turner?
oh yeah, definitely a legend. Goes beyond generations. Ike and Tina is a famous story. I mean, she's definitely a legend. R.I.P.
Uh,
Um,
Did you know that she went in the Hall of Fame? She was inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 2 different occasions, twice.
I did not know that. And
And
that's
I don't know that there's anybody else. I mean, maybe there's somebody else. I don't know who it is. Maybe that's a bit. I thought that was a big deal. She went in once with Ike, and then once by herself. And there's excuse me, there's a famous tour. Excuse me, there's a famous line by a local rapper named Cash Kid, and he in one of his rap lyrics, he says, "I feel like Tina Turner. I was on tour with a puncher."
wow.
And yeah, I don't know if that was appropriate to say right there, but like that's this lady impact, and I made that point to say
She's
that it made it through all the generations.
right. She's
Remember
definitely
what
an
we kind of talked
icon,
about earlier.
legend. Yeah. Uh, what's the rock and roll thief? Um, now I'm just drawing a blank. I said it earlier, but I'm drawing a blank now. But Babe Ruth
Well,
to sports, Elvis. She's
Elvis.
up, yeah, Elvis is what I use. She's up there. Like I never heard Elvis song in my life, but I know who he is. She's up there like that. She's legendary.
And I mean, what's love got to do with it? She's got a few other hits, things that we like, and she definitely was from a generation long before us, and she kind of peaked around in our youth, and so definitely want to shout out Miss Tina Turner. You still affecting music right now. I'm telling you, this young kid, Cass Kid, he's a young rapper. Newest album, he says her name prior to her passing away, and I mean, granted, he put the negative connotation with it, but it kind of lets you know, hey, she's someone. Like if I say this, people know what this is,
What
and
this
and
is,
so
right? Right.
yeah, and I
And people that spit bars, they not being offensive. It's just a hotline that sound good, but people do take offense to stuff like that when it's in a negative tone.
yeah, like well, and I mean, I don't take domestic violence lightly at all. I don't condone domestic violence. In fact, I think it's repulsive. I think it's horrific, and I don't condone it. But I do advocate and support artistic freedom. So shout out Tina Turner and the Turner family, and and her whole family, and Nutbush, Tennessee. Shout
Oh
out
wow.
Tennessee. And shout out Cash Kid, man. So if you listening, Cash Kid, we love you, man. We still listening. We listening to your music, not still, but we listening to your music, man. Um, uh, something really big happened too while we were away, Jan. The Celtics blew Game 7. Now, did the Celtics lose Game 7 or did Miami win Game 7?
I think a little bit of both. I think a little bit of both. I'm gonna go on record. the same. I mean, all our listeners know I picked Boston in 7, and we haven't been on in a while. So when it got to 3-0, I'm like, there's no way Boston is winning this series. History has told us is 150-0 that when you're down 3-0, you're not coming back. So I never really thought Boston, even when it got to Game 7, I didn't really think Boston was going to do it. And I know you called me at the last second and was like, "No, they're not doing it." You know, and I had another person on my wavelength, so it gave me the confirmation. I put it in, I got it. It's a little bit of both. Boston just hasn't been a team that has been closing out good. You know what I'm saying? They haven't been, and Miami has been the opposite the whole playoffs. They pretty much been the opposite. Miami plays, I mean not Miami. Boston plays small. Um, they don't cover spreads. They let people that's not better than them
I
play.
don't know that anybody doesn't cover a spread better than Miami. They don't cover anything. They until the playoffs. The playoffs started. They
Oh
cover
yeah,
every damn thing.
they're the number one team in the
Yeah,
playoffs. In
yeah,
the
right.
playoffs,
The regular season, they didn't cover jack. They
they
didn't
were
cover
dead
anything.
last. They were dead last in the regular season. As people that follow stats as hard as we follow, we could not believe that that it was so much of a swing the other way.
But why was it so hard for us to spot Miami, given that they were in the Eastern Conference Finals last year, Jan? We should have had some kind of inkling. I don't. Did they ever hit, the proverbial switch that we should have saw? Kind of like how Golden State went on that run toward the end of last year, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
And essentially, I can't even say Denver hit a switch. They've been annihilating people
the
from
whole
the
season. They was number
yeah.
one
So
seed all up until they
yeah.
kind of took off, and then Milwaukee kind of went ahead of them. But I mean, it's hard to say. It's hard to see that Miami was going to do this based on they lost their second best player in Tyler Hero. I mean, he could be the third best, but I like Tyler. Tyler Bio. Tyler way more consistent than the Bio, but they lost Tyler. They were an 8 seed. They were in the play-in game, and they got beat by Atlanta. So it's hard to say that Miami was going to do all this. It's really hard based on the way we look at basketball with a fine tooth comb. We wasn't going to pick Miami.
Miami was a very very tough call, and you know just feel really fortunate that we got to watch some great basketball. Jimmy's playing unbelievable. Caleb Martin was the real MVP of the Eastern Conference
I
Finals.
agree. I
Caleb
definitely
Martin,
agree.
Caleb Martin, you give me my props, MVP, dude. Like, hey,
Yeah.
listen, don't worry about getting the Larry Bird Award, okay? You get the give me my props award, okay?
Right, yeah, to give me my props, MVP, he's kind of mine to go to Caleb Martin. And I told you, like, Larry, there's no way he's not getting it. You was like, Jimmy's getting it.
I said, come on, Jimmy's getting it. Like, are you kidding me?
Like
There's no way you couldn't have given that award to Jimmy Butler. Did you hear the story about what he did at the which that is no fault of the teams, but did you hear the story about what he did at the Minnesota practice, where he embarrasses the starters and Karl Anthony Towns, and he balls out with the second team? Jeff Teague is on he's on somebody's podcast somewhere telling this story about Jimmy, and so you have to give that award to him, or you have
right,
to fight him in the locker room afterwards about it.
right. Jimmy's a leader, a natural born leader, but he needs his own team. So he didn't do well when he was on Philly. People forget he was there when Embiid
Yep, he sure was.
uh, Tobias Harris and the other and the meltdown kid. What's his name? The 50
Ben,
million. Yeah,
Ben, yeah,
yeah. He was
and
on
we'll
the
just
team with
call him
them,
Ben.
and
He
he was
only
on Minnesota with Cat.
with Towns and Teague and all those guys,
T.
and
Um,
Russell was there, right?
I think
He,
Russell was there. He might have just got there. They didn't have Anthony Edwards at the time,
no,
but
they
they,
didn't have Ant Man.
but they had enough to make it Jimmy to take that team. But he only shines like with the Bulls. He was clearly the front dude. You know what I'm saying? Clearly, he only shines in them situations. Was like, this is my team. Give me a bunch of people that's gonna work hard. I don't care who they is. Let's go. He
and,
goes crazy with that.
and it's very obvious that if you put him in the right system, he's gonna win. This man has been to the conference final numerous times, been to the final numerous times. He is knocking at the door, which takes me to the point because I don't even know that we talk about the series that was the Lakers in Denver, the sweep. You know, just where they make them look like the 7th seed that they were, or what have you. So, listen, you know, I like to use what's called the stud theory in basketball, where it
Right,
means
so
the biggest, baddest dude's gonna win the game or the championship.
that works most of the time. If you go with
Usually,
that, yeah, it usually works.
I call that the stud theory. I also like to use in the NBA what's called the pecking order, which means that a team, you know, they build up, they knock at the door, and then they break through. Akin to what the Pistons did, you know, late 80s, early 90s, akin to, Shaq and Kobe, akin to LeBron James, etc. You know, where the kid, where they knock at the door, and then they break through. Okay, we thought we were going to get it out of Tatum. We thought we were going to get it out of Ja. Those guys didn't break through. Maybe it was Jimmy knocking the whole time.
Yeah.
Was it Jimmy knocking the whole time?
Yeah, I mean it's possible, but I just can't see it. I can't bet it. I think
So
Miami is overmatched.
you got the stud theory over here.
Yeah,
That's stud theory over here. You got the pecking order theory over here. Which do you go with? Which is heavier? Is
I'm
it the
going
stud theory or the
stud.
pecking order
I'm
theory?
going to stud theory, the multi MVP of the league. I'm going that way. He has a better nucleus. They're gelling. The chemistry is great over there in Denver. I
Is
mean,
Jamal Murray better than Jimmy Butler?
I would say no, but Jimmy Butler don't have Jokic passing on the ball.
He's got Bam.
Bama. Yeah, you had to laugh before I said something.
Well, yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, no, Bam's a great player. Bam's a perennial All Star, and Bam's a great player. He's not Jokic, and I tease my dad, and I don't know if I said this the last time, but I teased my dad. I said, "This is how y'all felt watching Larry Bird destroy people on a nightly basis back then,
Right.
and they couldn't do anything about it." You know,
Yeah.
this is how y'all felt watching Bird come in and wreck the damn league.
Right.
And he laughed and he said, "Oh well, he's good. He ain't no Larry Bird though." So
Yeah.
we'll see, Jokic. Get your shit together, man. You got 5 to go get. How many Larry got? No, Larry's got 4, doesn't he?
I think he has 4. Just going on the top of my head,
Yeah.
I think he's 4.
Well, if you want to beat Larry, you got to get 5, Jokic. Starting with 1, I'm gonna go ahead and give it to him. Even though I feel kind of ashamed giving it to him because I should be rooting for like Miami. Like they are essentially like the darlings, the underdog fighters, and they're familiar to us. And it seems like they've given us so much. I don't feel that connection with Denver.
No, I get what you're saying. Miami has took us on an emotional roller coaster. Being a David to Goliath, slaying the Milwaukee Bucks, beating the Knicks, and then beating the big bad wolf with the Boston Celtics. I mean, you can't really write a script like that. I get what you're saying, but Denver has been annihilating the whole league, the whole season on the low, on the low.
Yeah, they've been number 1 basically all season,
Yeah,
and there's not no reason to believe that they're not going to be anything other than number 1. Ton of talent out there. Bruce Brown is playing out of his mind. Porter Jr. had a huge closeout game. Kentavious Caldwell Pope, Wiley veteran, a lot of championship pedigree. Jokic is clearly the best player left in this thing. He's by far and away the best player left in this thing. Jamal Murray, 50, 40, 90 in the closeout series. This thing is going to get very, very interesting.
yeah. And right now, Vegas has Denver game 1 by 8.5, which I think is a little
Sucks.
too.
That's too. Ooh.
I think it's a little high for a Miami scrappy team, but I'm probably going to bet Denver win the game, but I'm gonna try to get these points down with probably a 1 game parlay, probably Jokic 25, Denver 5.5. I think that's plus money. You can get that. I think I like that. I might roll with that.
Well, I don't have anything interesting as relates to a parlay. I think Jokic is going to do well. I don't see any reason that he won't have a triple double. So I think if you want to try to squeeze that one in there, I think he finally understands who he is. But what about can we pull up that fight that these guys had where Jimmy's telling them, bring that shit, or what's Jimmy saying to him in that? Bring it or something like that. Can we pull up that fight and show the people this team they have history? I forgot about that. They do have history.
Okay, and real quick, before you can go back to that, but
sure.
taking Nuggets minus 4.5, Jimmy 20, Jokic 20 is plus money. I think that's real safe.
That's super safe. When you say plus money, plus how much?
Plus 105.
Okay, so really even then. Even Steven.
Yeah. Even money, yeah, basically. But go ahead.
Well, the people might want to hear something else like that. What you're doing is pretty interesting. The people might want to hear that. They might not want to hear about the fight that Jimmy almost got into with Jokic. Jimmy almost got into a fight with him, and the brothers got involved in all of that. Man, it was a mess.
I'm gonna have to look that up because I don't remember that for some reason. I do not remember that.
Oh yeah, we've got to get that. Can we talk to the engineers? Can they hear? Well, okay. So we low budget. We don't have engineers. Okay. But if we did, I would tell them to pull. The footage to show y'all, America, because these teams have history. Jokic is no punk, and obviously Jimmy's temperament has been well documented. But I think Jen and I both are going to lean toward Denver winning game one. I think we both think 8.5 is too many points. It may change by the time it closes. Watch that thing. Whichever way it swings, go the opposite way is always my advice. We both think they're gonna win game one. I think this thing ends in 5 or 6, Jan. I just don't. It's just he's too much, man.
Yeah, it's too much. Yeah, I'm probably gonna, and I got a free bet, and I might use that free bet to take Denver. Pick it exactly 4-1. I might use that free bet on that. But definitely for game one, when you win game 7, and then the game 1 of the next series, the team is 31-52, straight up.
So I mean, not a lot of value in picking Denver money line, but they're gonna win the damn game basically.
Yeah, they're probably gonna win this game.
We giving y'all that. What you got? What you got, Jan, on the whole series?
I like Denver in 5, 4-1.
Wow, Denver in 5. I'm saying Denver in 5 or 6. I got to see how the Heat play, see how they respond, because they're going to get punched in the mouth. They're going to get punched in the mouth. Right. How many days we got before we watch basketball? 4 more days?
Actually, I think it's tomorrow, right? Let me see.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I think it's tomorrow.
I feel like the game was just last night.
Nah, it was like 2 days ago.
Jeez, oh, peace.
I want to say, let me.
Time goes by so fast, man. Hell, my kid's going to graduate from high school next year. I'm just,
Hell, right. Yeah, wow. That's great.
What's happening to time?
Yeah, tomorrow. 8:30 tomorrow. Game 1. Tomorrow.
8:30 tomorrow. That's Eastern, 7:30 Central. Be there, be square. Give me my props, family. We love y'all. Hey, shout out to everybody who listened to us, too. And I know we always be joking about Al listening and stuff like that, but I mean, low key, like, we got the mob. Like, there's Lil and Steve-O and D and all. You know what I mean? And then on the gang on the other end, Seth, Var, all them boys and Rio and all the, like.
And shout out to the internet. We got international listeners. We got people in Louisiana, New York. We got people all over the globe.
Yeah, and you might catch it on YouTube, and there's not a lot of views and stuff like that. But the podcast getting some buzz. I guess more people like to listen because we're ugly and my camera quality's not good. So I love y'all. Thanks for coming out. And just remember, when Denver win game 1, and then you finesse it with that 20 and 20 Jan was talking about and get the lower amount. Just give me my props, damn it, America. Jan, tell these folks what to do.
Give me my props.
Peace, America. We love you. Well, I love you, Jan, is not so much. Not so much, America.